Hello! Welcome to InfoFrag. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm James, joined here, as always, by my good friends Bobby and Eric. And today we're going to talk about some music.
Like James said, this week we're going to be talking about music, and in particular, we're going to be talking about some artists that we think are underrated personally. We're going to show you some clips of them and see what you think.
Showing the clips?
Huh?
We may not show clips because copyright,
Okay.
but we'll link stuff.
Yeah.
No, it could be like 30 seconds.
I don't know, we'll link stuff.
Anyways, I'm going to kick it off. Let's go with Angels and Airwaves. I love them. If I had one word to describe them, I would say ethereal. Check out their album, Love. It is fantastic. It's really spacey. The first, I think, 3 or 4 songs blend into each other, and as long as you're not streaming it off of a music thing, if you're streaming it off their album, then it will seamlessly blend into each other, and it's great. Oh, it's amazing. So I would highly recommend checking them out. Do you guys know them?
I hate them. Well, the only time I heard them, I think I was in middle school maybe, or early high school. It was way back, and yeah, I thought it was awful. But maybe this one's better. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to check it out. But it was.
You're terrible.
It was trash.
You're terrible.
All right, so is it my turn?
Yeah.
All right.
This is
So-
how we're doing it.
All right, so I guess, yeah, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll just go back and forth. All right, so a band that I would like to talk about that I think is very underrated is, I guess I'm going to start with this band from the UK called Sikth.
Garbage.
Yeah,
I hate them.
He clearly heard what what was the band that I just said?
Garbage, I hate them.
Skrillex.
He has no idea.
Skrillex.
All right, so Sikth, S-I-K-T-H, is a band
Garbage.
from the UK, and they are a technical metal band. They disbanded in 2008, and they just got back together to play some shows last year. Hopefully they're coming out with some new albums. But this band, they're pretty much one of the big, they're one of the people who laid down a lot of the groundwork for our modern progressive metal, gent movement. If you listen to them, you'll hear a lot of things that you'll hear, obviously not copy and pasted from them, but you'll hear a lot of things that you could see where a lot of modern gent bands got some of their stuff from. They also have 2 vocalists, and they sound really, really freaking chaotic, very weird. Probably never going to hear another band like that in your life, unless you're hearing, like that. So, unless you hear one of the bands, there's a couple bands that are trying to do this style as well. There's this other band called D-Stray, sounds very much like them.
Unless Bobby makes an album.
Yeah, unless Bobby makes an album, in which case...
We'll link it
just
in
like
the
that.
bottom.
Yeah, it's just...
It's
right.
experimental.
So yeah, Sikth. Check them out. Nobody really knows who they are, especially in that gent scene, which is surprising. But yeah, I'm gonna go to you.
Okay, well, mine is also a less-known band because they only made 1 album, and they broke up shortly after. It is
Green
The
Day?
Seeking.
Oh,
Yeah. And Egan was talking about them the other day, and I was like, "Hey, someone else knows about them."
like
They're kind
them.
of they're kind of poppy with a little bit of a metal mix thrown in there. Their album Years Forever is their only album, and it's probably best song on
the best album
the
by
album.
them is their only
It's
album.
their only one. Yes.
Who knew?
And if you like metal and rock, hey, check it out. It's much better than James and Eric's bands.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
All right.
Hey, everyone was dissing
Go
everyone's stuff. That's
Eric was just butthurt. He had no idea what I was even talking about.
All right, we're going to go to the next band of mine, which is Maximum the Hormone. Check them out. They are from Japan, and they're insane.
If you like
I
System
said-
of a Down, you'll love Maximum the Hormone.
It's just...
You can't tell me they don't sound like a Japanese System of a Down at
Slightly.
points.
Slightly.
At points.
Yeah, there's parts where you're like, you ponder and you're like, all right, a little bit of System of a Down. But overall, they're just chaotic. They're absolutely nuts. They have, all of them sing.
Yeah,
All four
yeah,
of them,
yeah.
but
it's
they-
mainly the guitarist doing the cleans, and then the screamer does
there's
his
a
screamy,
screamer.
rappy kind of
He
thing, which is
does-
cool as hell.
He does really fast, screamy, rappy things. Check out Alien. I'll probably post a little clip of it. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I think it'd be safe.
They
We'll
blow your
we'll
mind.
link stuff in the description so this video doesn't go super long. Because if we post stuff for every band, it'll get really long.
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
All right, so the second band I would like to talk about is La Dispute. Now, La Dispute is a band. They are I guess you can call them like emotive hardcore, very, very emotional style of music. Like the lyrics are very heavy. It's delivered in a spoken word kind of like strained screams at times. Now, a lot of people kind of like when they hear this band, they kind of just like disregard them because of the vocals. You know, like they just hear the vocals and they're like, oh, that guy's just talking or he's just yelling or whatever. But this is a band that when you get into them, man, like they make you do that. Like they make you like oh.
I can't do this for long.
So sad and dark, and no, it's really powerful music, and I really think, especially in today's day and age, we don't have enough, bands that like the sound is just like raw and like not this really overprocessed, meaningless stuff.
Right on.
Like it's really their music is really like honest, and the lyrics are especially fantastic. If you check them out, I recommend their album Wildlife. It is fantastic, and yeah, go to you.
Okay, my second is Search the City. I know Eric likes them at least. I have no idea what James thinks about them, but I think
I just know it's an awful
I think
card.
they are. Yeah, it's a very good Magic card as well.
it's not.
What he said. He loves that
garbage.
Card.
So I'm gonna assume the band is garbage. Too.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, you're the worst.
Yo, we all are doing this to each other.
But their first album, A Fire So Big the Heavens Can See It, is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It's really awesome. They have a really sarcastic and catchy thing going. It's really cool. They broke up 2 years ago, a few years ago. It was a little while after.
Yeah, it was like
5 years ago.
7.
It's 2 or 3.
1886.
And then right after the order. I would describe their style as Amberlin-y, I guess, if you like their stuff. Upbeat, like and I would say it's airy kind of rock. They have kind of airy guitars. I don't know. I'm not going to get into the technical part. I'm just going to tell you what it sounds like.
I have to say, their first album was heavily based on guitar riffs and how awesome their guitarist was. Their second album, which I think Bobby was going to get into. Yeah, where they got a new vocalist.
Just recently came back together with a new
vocalist. They got a new vocalist after they broke up.
Who sounds much like
similar.
the old guy.
Sounds similar.
So it's not too much different.
But the second album is heavily based on vocal patterns, I guess, or vocal style. They really emphasize
than the guitar.
The guy. Yeah, they really emphasize the guy. The first one, they emphasized the guitar because it was very good. But the singer, they emphasized the singer a lot.
I thought you were talking about that.
He's very good.
Both albums are very good.
Yeah.
The guy.
Yeah, he's very good. All right, I'm going to go on to my next one, which is The Last 10 Seconds of Life. I know how much James loves these guys because they're amazing. But they're very, very heavy.
Just want to clarify that that was sarcasm.
Yeah, okay. Well,
just keep going.
They're phenomenal because, one, I know James doesn't think this, but I think their songwriting is great. I think all songs, to me, sound like different songs, but by the same band.
It's like a different breakdown every time.
Yeah, no, they do have a lot of breakdowns that are open. Just open notes and very slow, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the song is great and the breakdowns are phenomenal, and when the bass actually drops, it kicks you in the teeth because it's just so good.
Damn.
I had one word to describe them, and I would say disgusting, because their vocalist is a monster. Their new album, they really portray him very well. He's gross.
Is that? No, never mind.
What?
Never mind. No.
You gonna bash it?
No. Never mind. My turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to talk about The Roots. The Roots are a hip-hop band. It's not just like a bunch of guys. It's actually a band. They were formed in the late 80s in Philly, and they're one of the earliest like hip-hop groups. They're viewed as very influential in the hip-hop scene, but I feel like now, especially with the way that the rap scene is, nobody knows they exist anymore, and it's really kind of sad because personally they're my favorite hip-hop group. And I really like that whole organic, like they almost approach it in like a bluesy, like jazzy kind of way. They use real instruments, like it's a bunch of actual musicians playing music, and very good lyrics on their part as well. And I think it's just a shame that like all this stuff, like groups like them with actual talent, are kind of on the wayside while you have, like. Poop. Like, we could go off for days.
Baby.
Ooh. Yeah, we could go off for days about, how awful modern hip-hop and pop is. But, no, definitely, if you're not familiar with The Roots, check them out. Their older stuff, their early 90s, late 80s stuff, it's very, it's very traditional, like 90s hip-hop, has that really organic kind of, sound to it. Their latest stuff is actually really dark, so if you're looking for some more bleaker rap, more serious undertones. Check out their newer stuff. But hey, I mean, they're like Jimmy Kimmel's house band or something. So they're they're making bank, obviously. But nobody like if you talk to people about rap, most people don't know they are, at least in our age group. So go to you.
Okay, my third is Secret and Whisper. Their album The Great White Whale is also one of my favorite albums. Most of these are my favorite albums.
Why?
Well,
Why would you?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Why would you say that? Why would you? Jeez, Bob.
We're supposed to talk about bands that we hate.
Yeah,
It's really gross.
They're a darker band. But they are all about ducks.
What did you actually?
I said a dark.
darker.
The topics that they talk about are darker,
They're a
but it's
darker
kind of like
band, not a ducker band.
It's kind of like laughing off dangerous situations is what I put. That's how I
ducks.
describe it. Yeah. Like you never know.
When you get attacked by a duck,
You never know.
You never know
My
about
family was slaughtered by ducks.
I'm trying to talk about ducks,
Sorry,
not
keep going.
ducks. Both of their albums are really sad actually, but they're very good. I guess emotional. You said emotional for the other one.
I did
you
say
describe
emotional.
it as sad.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Loud Dispute.
Loud Dispute is sad as hell.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
These guys are also very sad. If you want to cry when you're listening to them, don't.
Don't, because you're a sissy.
And it's really, and they're just really metaphorical. And I like lyrics that actually make you think. And they're not just. It's not just They're not breakdowns, but it's not just a chorus like the whole song. So
It's not just a breakdown the whole song.
or a breakdown. Yeah,
Sorry,
that's your turn. Go ahead.
I was falling asleep thinking about the last 10 seconds of life.
The last 10 seconds of life. So good. Anyways, my next one is My Ticket Home. Their newest album, in particular, they changed a lot from their EP to their first album to their second album to their third. I don't know. I think Strangers Only is their last. It is their last album. I think it might be their third. It's fantastic. If you're into hardcore music such as like Comeback Kid, maybe a little bit heavier than Comeback Kid.
Well, they're not like a hardcore band. That
or
album
new metal.
It's more like new metal. Absolutely more
new metal mixed with hardcore. It's awesome. Strangers Only has their lyrical content is fantastic because it's just sarcasm.
It's like an angsty 8th grader.
Oh my god!
It really is.
Everything.
No, it really is though.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No,
What's
it's
that
not.
one? He's like, no one likes you because you're too cool. Like, that's literally a lyric in one of their songs. I'm not.
It is, but if you listen to the rest of the song, yeah. If you listen to the rest of the song, you would
He
understand.
pushed me into my locker.
So
I'm sorry.
they're really high energy.
They are. I'll give them that.
Most of their songs off of Strangers Only is extremely high energy. They have a couple more down tempo ones, but other than that, they're so good. I would love to go to their show. I haven't gotten a chance to yet. But moving on.
All right. So the fourth band I'd like to talk about is the Mars Volta. The Mars Volta is no longer a band, but Cedric and Omar, the guitarist and frontman of the band, they've been best friends forever, and they always make bands, and then they get in fights and make new bands. So they're in a new band now called Antimask, which they're pretty good too. But I feel like the Mars Volta was the best thing that these two did together. At the Drive-In was also very good. That was their first band. The Mars Volta is one of the most unique bands I've ever heard. They are a psychedelic rock band, kind of progressive, like super awesome musicianship, and they're really weird, very unorthodox things going on in their songs. So if you're into, the best way I could kind of describe them is like, I don't like Led Zeppelin, but I feel like if Led Zeppelin was like around now, that like they're like this era's Led Zeppelin.
I thought that was your fifth band.
Oh,
Led Zeppelin.
It is. Now I look stupid. But anyway, if you want to check out the Mars Volta, I highly recommend their first album, Deloused in the Comatorium. That album is almost perfect. All their albums are fantastic, but Francis the Mute is also very good. And if you want to hear some of the best damn drumming you'll ever hear in your entire life, check out the
Periphery.
check out Periphery, but check out the Bedlam and Goliath by the Mars Volta. They had Thomas Pridgeon on board for this album, who is probably, in my opinion, one of the best drummers alive, and he absolutely tears that album apart. So yeah, the Mars Volta, check them out.
It's the Mars Volta?
The Mars Volta.
Do you know how they got their name? Because it sounds really cool,
I
actually.
don't remember at all.
I like the name a lot.
I think they were just like, this is weird. Cool. I don't remember. There's probably a story.
My fourth is House of Heroes, and I would describe them as musical Americana. I feel like they are extremely American, just because
Are they from America?
they're from America.
Wow.
But I mean, the
They're pretty
topics
American.
that they talk about are American.
Like
Like
white picket fence,
cheeseburgers.
Like
cheeseburgers.
cheeseburgers.
White picket fences.
Cheeseburgers.
Tom
But they
Sawyer.
have a classic rock feel. And it's kind of like campfire music and
I remember you showed
summer
me these
music.
guys before.
And you said they were like polka, and I would disagree.
No,
They
that
are
one
totally
song,
not
the one
polka.
song you sent
But
me.
if it's
had
more
a-
classic rocky.
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
but no, the
thing.
one song you sent me did have a polka feel to it. Like it
But
just had that like.
Only
Yeah,
it
kinda.
didn't.
My grandfather was in a polka band.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Um,
is Eric's grandfather? in
I would
this
say the
band?
albums that they make are generally based off romanticizing the middle class and like stuff like War, Summer, Cops and Robbers, and Immigration. They're really awesome. They have a wide range of stuff. It's pretty sweet.
Cool, cool. Moving on to my final one, which is actually my favorite band, Owl City.
It's a guy.
It's a band, actually.
Is it a band now?
He, sort of. His first album was just him. I think, okay, no. Here's what happens. He writes all the music.
Mm-hmm.
I know on his last album, not his last EP, but his last album, because he did release an EP called Ultraviolet. His last album, The Midsummer Station, he collaborated with a couple people. It's not as good as his first album, and I think that's the reason, because when he's by himself, he produces a daydream, which is what the word that I describe him as. It's like a daydream. It's like everywhere that you want to be when like you're at school and you don't want to be there, or you're sitting in the DMV and you're just thinking about like the beautiful places somewhere else that you want to be. Listen to Owl City, because that's where it takes you, I think.
I think all three of us like Owl City. Correct?
Yeah, and a lot of that surprises a lot of people when they find out that I like Owl City.
Well, yeah,
but
I mean-
Owl City, like, no, it's. I mean, I haven't heard his newest album. What I heard from it, I didn't like as much as was it
His first album.
Ocean Eyes? What is it?
That was his second album.
Yeah,
Ocean
that
Eyes.
one.
That
That's-
Cave In and Fireflies and everything. Ocean Eyes.
That is my favorite album by him, because that whole album, it reminds me, this is so weird, but like, do you guys remember playing, I think it's the third Spyro game, and there's that one planet, there's a one
never
world where
played
it's
Spyro.
like, well, there's this one world where it's like all underwater, and you're like
Okay.
swimming all over the place and stuff, and it's like, looks like Atlantis and stuff, and that's what that album makes me think of, just
Yes.
like being underwater, just chilling with like a bunch of fish, and you're just like,
Umbrella Beach.
yo, this is awesome.
It's not metaphorical like a lot of things that I was talking about. It's kind of just like
Oh, no, his
it's
his
like you
imagery.
don't think into it.
No,
It's
yeah, because
imagery.
his lyrics are a bunch
Yeah.
of nonsense, but they make you see things,
Yes.
which,
Yeah.
you know, is very cool.
It's he's got the imagery within his lyrics, like just what it makes you see, what it makes you daydream about is unbelievable. He's got Vanilla Twilight, which has a fantastic music video to it. It's
I
wonderful.
don't think I've seen that.
It's
I'll
great.
check that
You
out.
should
I
check
think
it
there's
out.
a black guy in it.
There is.
Oh, never mind.
There is.
But my favorite album by Owl City, I want to talk about this just because it is my favorite band ever, and Adam Young is one of my favorite people over these two any day.
Jeez.
Maybe I'm Dreaming. That album is so good.
Maybe me, but you.
Again, Maybe I'm Dreaming is great. That is the epitome of daydreaming. It is so good.
Also-
I really highly recommend checking that out.
I also got to give the guy credit. A lot of people don't know that he was the drummer in a mathcore band.
Yes, called Isle.
Yeah, he
ISLE.
made some wicked mathcore stuff.
You
which-
should. He's got. If you actually go on YouTube and you type in Isle dash always have a reaction, you can find him playing the drums in this terrible '90s video, awful quality, and he's tweaking out.
But
on
man,
the drums.
it'll make you think like, oh man, this really popular, you know, like pop guy is, you know, that's what he's into. Really into stuff like Norma Jean and stuff.
Which is awesome. Yeah, I remember he posted on this is like Facebook one time. He's like, what's gonna get me through this like 12-hour plane ride? I don't know. He's going to like Tokyo or something.
Yeah, the
is the
Chariot
Chariot
and
and
Norma
Norma
Jean,
Jean, and so much respect for him. All right, moving on.
All right, so my fifth band and my favorite band of all time is Converge. Converge is a band that in the scene that they are in, they're that band that everybody knows exists and everybody knows is important but does not listen to. Like, they're like the Meshuggah of like hardcore. Like,
Oh, gosh.
Meshuggah, like, just shush. I'm not talking about, but like
Here we
in
go.
the sense where like people know about them and they know that what they did influenced a whole bunch of bands after that, but they never actually go back and check them out, or you know, just and like Converge, they're bands initially, you know, I don't think anybody initially likes Converge. They're this really super, if I could pick, you know, if you're doing the one word thing, one word would be like abrasive. Like their sound is chaotic and raw, and it literally just like it just smashes into you, and you kind of have to deal with it until you learn to like it. And when you learn to like it, it's great. Like I have never heard a band just express raw anger as well as Converge does. All their music is just like,
The
it's
last
like
10 seconds of life.
yeah, okay.
Raw anger.
Yeah, all right. But it's literally like, I don't know. It's insane. I've never heard any band pull it off as well as they do. And if you haven't heard Converge, which I'm sure a lot, like I said, a lot of people have heard of them, but if you haven't listened to Converge, I highly recommend checking out their newest album. Is probably the best starting point. It's called All We Love We Leave Behind. It's a fantastic hardcore album, absolutely amazing. And then if you like that, just start going back and checking all the other stuff because it's all very good musicianship, very good people. They're all like into animal rights and like all this.
That automatically makes you a good person.
No,
okay. I know.
But if you look into what they do,
no,
like,
that's great.
The vocalist runs Death Wish Records, like he has a record label. The guitarist runs God City Studios, who puts out a bunch of fantastic albums. He's a really good recorder. He did Code Orange Kids album and like a bunch of other albums. And the drummer's in like 15 different bands, and the bassist in a bunch of different bands. Like they're all the kind of people that like. You don't really have too many people to look up to anymore in the music industry, but like these guys, yeah, because you see what they do and you're like, man, that's what you can do.
That's
like
what I want
you can be in a band, you could have a company, you could be in a bunch of bands
and save the dolphins.
Yeah, and you can save
dolphins.
No, actually, Jacob Bannon, their vocalist, is very into like rescuing dogs and things like that.
Yeah,
and they're all like straight edge and vegan and whatever, but positive lifestyles, whatever. But yeah, check them out. They're fantastic. And we'll go to you.
And speaking of albums that are hard to get into, speaking of bands that are hard to get, would you say the whole band is hard to get into?
Absolutely.
Just the Mewithoutyou. If you like trying to get into hard bands, or bands that are hard to get into,
hard bands,
that are hard to get into, dolphins. They're extremely hard to get into, but when you get into them, they're really good. I would say like the whole albums are like musical paintings. It's the vocals.
The vocals?
Yeah. I would say it's like gypsy rock. Only because the guy that's singing, the singer is not a good singer. And he's
just not.
But like I would say it's gypsy rock because it's kind of like just like, hey, your uncle singing around a campfire.
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's kind of like, hey, I like what he's saying.
I got
like
you.
They have a lot to say, even though if they can't say it in the best way, but you kind of. Like the lyrics are mean so much in like all of their songs. Like you kind of have to listen to the lyrics, you listen to the music, and you get the whole thing. You can't just be like, oh, this lyrics or the vocals suck. I'm just gonna listen to the music. You can't do that. You have to listen to the entire thing.
Yeah, that's very similar to how a lot of Spewed is.
They are so let me see, so metaphorical. Like all the songs you can really get into, and each song has a meaning to be discovered. Like space.
Like space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to run through each of us. I don't know if you do, but Eric and I have one or two honorable mentions we want to do. You have anybody like that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk.
It's just real quick. There's some people we wanted to talk about, but didn't really, make it to the top five. So
I would say mine is the Tony Danza Tapdance Extravaganza. They're crazy. They one word to describe it is wonky. If you listen to them, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. The reason I didn't put them on my top 5 is their songwriting abilities. They're not a band anymore, but their songwriting abilities were good. But you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. Like, they have songs here and there that you just kind of forget about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I remember their last on Danza 4, they have that one song. I remember
Paul Bunyan and the Blue Ox.
No,
because that's nasty. Check that out.
Some things are better left unsaid or whatever. And it's just like 7 minutes of noise and garbage.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to it, and I'm like, some things are best unrecorded. And all right, anyway. My honorable mentions, I want to talk about Spor. Spor is an EDM producer. He makes an offshoot of drum and bass called Neurofunk. It's very aggressive drum and bass, very like got a lot of like dubstep influences in it and like the grindy kind of sound. It's very fast. It's kind of that music where you put it on when you're driving and you just want to go like a million miles an hour and just crash into people and stuff.
Don't play this while you're on the highway.
Well, I mean, do and then crash. Don't do that.
That'll be the most fun crash you'll ever get.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
But Spor, his name is John Gooch. He also has another project called Feed Me, which a lot of people actually know about because Feed Me is just your traditional like electro house dubstep kind of project. So that blew up, and once that blew up, he kind of didn't make Spor stuff anymore. But he just put out a new album like very recently. I just picked it up 2 days ago.
Were we checking that out in the car the other day?
No.
What were?
That was Nice Party.
My bad.
Yeah, he just put out a new album, and he is fantastic. His production is fantastic. His, just really awesome sequencing skills and just really interesting kind of compositions, which is rare for, electronic music. And the other one I wanted to talk about was RX Bandits. RX Bandits is a progressive ska band, another thing you don't really hear too much of. But these guys are, if you're into progressive music or ska, you'll probably find something to enjoy about these guys. Very awesome songwriting skills, very catchy music, and once again, very good musicianship. If you're familiar with the sound of animals fighting, most of RX Bandits is in that band. They are a band, not just the thing I'm saying.
The sound of
animals fighting.
Yes, that is a
okay,
band.
I thought you meant
Yes.
if I
No.
enjoy the sound of animals tearing each other apart.
No, that is a band.
Michael Vick does.
Yes. Wow.
I like how you talk about animal rights,
Wow,
and you're
thanks.
like, if you enjoy the sound of
animals
animals tearing each other apart, you'll like this.
I am a hypocrite.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
No, but I'm gonna say that I like Spor. I do. You told me to listen to them
While
on
ago,
PlayStation, I believe, and I was playing to them, I was playing. How was it? Warframe, listening to them. And any shooter you play Spor in the background, and you'll have a good time.
They're just good,
awesome.
good
It's
music,
to
good music to get you pumped up, without a doubt.
I got one more honorable mention. It's Confide, specifically their new album, All Is Calm. My word, James, you're just
I had to throw up. I'm sorry.
You're just awful.
It had nothing to do with that.
Okay,
I
listen.
just felt the urge to dry heave.
The songwriting in this is fantastic. It's amazing.
I can't
Man,
say
I can't even.
that.
I'm
No,
losing my
I
train of
think I'm
thought.
just- I think I'm getting sick.
You're
He's
just
losing
the
his
worst
stomach.
person ever. Joel Piper, which is the drummer, who is also the clean vocalist, is great. He's got his own side project just under his name, Joel Piper. Check him out too, because he's awesome. But it's so catchy. That was the one word for me. It's like pop metal. They do like breakdown, scream, and whatnot, but they're just so catchy, and it's amazing. I'd say check them out. And I think that's it. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching this episode. Please subscribe to our YouTube account and also like us on Facebook, because we are on Facebook. Rate the video, comment, tell us your favorite. Tell us your top 5. Give us a list.
Don't tell me. Tell them.
Tell me.
Because I don't care.
And then we'll see you next week.
All right. See you later.